What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. And today, it is time that we discuss what lessons can Republicans learn from the failures of 2022 and learn and realize what went wrong and how we can fix those issues going into 2024 so we can pick off other congressional seats to potentially keep or even expand our slim House majority that we currently got. Because quite frankly, folks, there are many problems Republicans had in 2024, or 2022, I should say, that they should learn upon to possibly win 2024. Now, there are debate about other issues, such as funding, which I've gone on and on about, such as stuff like maybe abortion did play a part in some circumstances by like a point or two. But I was talking to a good friend on Twitter, Mary Miller Stan. His Twitter account will be in the description down below. Go follow him, great guy. Helped create this video. And he really showed me what really went wrong in 2022 for many of these congressional seats. Republicans failed at messaging. This was the number one concern for Republicans that they must address. Yes, funding's a big deal. Yes, there were some problems with abortion. But even then, you look at many of these congressional races, you can't really just say that abortion and funding were the two biggest reasons for Republicans to not win some of these seats. Again, it's part of it, but it's quite clear it's not the whole story. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and join the channel today. You know, everybody, about joining the channel, just for 10 cents a day, if you click that big, beautiful blue join button now. Just for 10 cents a day, you can help support the daily content that we all love and want more of. So I hope you join today. All right, folks, let's get into today's video. We have a lot to discuss about some of the failures that happened in 2022 that I think, and Mary Miller Stan did point this out on Twitter, Republicans should learn from. Now, abortion, you can make the argument, did hurt Republicans in some circumstances. But to say that it just blatantly, caused a blue wave is absurd. I mean, look at pro-choice states such as California and New York. There were red tsunamis in a place like Florida, which in the past was more of a pro-choice state, had a dramatic red wave. It had the biggest red tsunami of the country. So what's going on here? Like, what really caused this, right? Well, messaging hurt us. In particular, the Rust Belt. Like states like Arizona, Georgia, etc. We did good in congressional races. Places like California, Florida, New York, etc. We did good in House races in those states. But here's a problem. We underperformed in Michigan. Vastly underperformed in Ohio, Pennsylvania, etc. And you look at many of these races, it came down to messaging. It flat out came down to messaging. And you can see from the ticker down below, there's 4 steps or so how Republicans can fix this, all right? And this is actually a good tier, I guess you could say, list of, okay, what do Republicans fix? Number 1, identify your targets, such as who is the candidate you're going against. In this example, Ohio 13th, it's Sykes. She was the House Minority Leader for the Democrats in the Ohio State Legislature. What is the main issue in the state/district? Obviously, this is a working class area. Trade and jobs were the biggest issue in this district. And I don't care what people say about my role. Sykes only ran on fair trade, making sure you have a good job, a blue-collar job, and you get good health care. Look at Gilbert. She ran on TPUSA talking points and, oh, I have good looks. That's all she ran on. Like, you're not going to win elections just based on that. People care about making sure they get jobs. They want to make sure their health care isn't absurdly priced. That's why, in my opinion, and Mary Miller pointed this out correctly, that Sykes was able to win because she focused on the issues that matter to voters, not abortion. Like, you look at her issue page, it was like the 8th most important issue. She focused on fair trade, making sure to bring back the jobs. We need health care that's good for you, all right? That's what she ran on. What did Gilbert run on? Seriously, what did she run on? Exactly. Nobody freaking knows. And that's the problem. And step 3 for these steps to win, does your opponent live up to the top 20% of issues for voters? Yes, Sykes clearly did in this circumstance. That's all she ran on. Can people get this through their thick skulls? That a lot of these Democrats, yes, they ran on abortion in some instances, but their number 1, 2, or 3 issues was healthcare, the economy, Social Security, something like that. That is how a lot of these Democrats were able to overperform expectations. While Republicans, they did not have a real alternative. They ran only on inflation, which, if you talk about gas price or grocery prices instead of gas prices, sure, that could have helped. But they didn't even do that. They just talked about gas prices and called it a day. So yeah. And also, what is the other 80% of the general views of the district? Live up to as many as you can, such as, we want a strong border, stuff like that. Gilbert failed in this instance. And this isn't just congressional races. Look at Senate races. Sherrod Brown, for example. Why do you think so many Trump voters like the guy? Now, I think he's done, but what are his main issues when he runs? Trade and jobs. That's the 2 issues this guy runs on. Vocal opponent on stuff like NAFTA, and we gotta bring back the manufacturing jobs, and all this good stuff. Like, how do you think he wins? Yeah, because he talks about the issues that matter to the voters in Ohio. And you look at Tim Ryan, I mean, look at his electoral history. Yes, his margin of victory was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But even then, Tim Ryan won most of the time because he ran on trade, bring back the manufacturing jobs. Trade, bring back the manufacturing jobs. While Republicans all these years did not have a serious alternative. Nothing. They just let Tim Ryan run on it without providing a serious alternative to healthcare, a serious alternative to trade before Trump. Trump is the reason we have a chance of winning Ohio 13th. But we need candidates focused on the freaking issues that matter to these voters. Now, there are many other situations where Republicans failed. Let's look at Michigan 8th. This should have been a Republican victory. Look, Dan Kildee, the only reason this guy wins, he grifts off his dead uncle. That's all he does. Think about it. That's all Dan Kildee runs on. His uncle, who was a pro-life, pro-union representative. That's all this guy runs on. This guy isn't pro-life. He's not blue-collar. I mean, he's one of the most extremist Democrats in the House of Representatives. He is pro-free trade, and he wants to get rid of tariffs on China. So why are Republicans just letting that be? Why are they not talking about the fact that Kildee is nothing like his uncle? His uncle was a blue-collar, pro-American, pro-life representative. That's the only reason this guy keeps winning. And it's getting infuriating. These fake moderates, they can grift off their dead uncles all day long because no Republicans offer a serious alternative. Dale Kildee, who is the uncle of Dan Kildee, was actually moderate. He fought for blue-collar jobs. It's just getting ridiculous. It's getting absurd. It even expands to Virginia. Look, Vega originally I thought was an S-tier recruit. I thought she was going to win this race. She lost by 5. Absolutely useless. the fact that she lost this race by 5, not by like 1 or 2, just shows kind of my point. Now, Vega, this is circumstance where I think the abortion stuff may have hurt her. She went off the rails when it came to abortion. Like, come on. This isn't like, a neutral district. This is still a Biden plus like 3 or 4 seat. Talking about abortion like that, it's like, why? But also, Vega had a weird message. Like, half the time she ran as, a Youngkin-style Republican. The other half, she brought in people like Bob Good to campaign for her. Wait, I like Bob Good. I just don't think he's the best fit for the district. Like, voters are confused. Like, what does Vega really stand for? What is her stances on the issues? All right? Like, is she a America First candidate, like a warrior, or is she like a Youngkin clone? Some people were confused. And people may not like Spanberger, but what she stands on the issues. And she talks about issues that matter. In fact, she's actually doing some good stuff right now. She's proposing limiting insider trading. That is good stuff. And that's why Democrats like Spanberger, they're not necessarily the most moderate in the world, they still are able to win because Republicans, they cannot get a clear, coherent message down. They just refuse to get a message straight. Now, this is why somebody like Higgins was able to win by around 4 points, while somebody like Vega lost by 5. Higgins isn't the best on the issues, but she was coherent and consistent with her platform. She didn't, suddenly bring in Bob Good to campaign as, an America First warrior. She just campaigned as kind of a Youngkin-style, more establishment Republican, which I'm not the biggest fan of, right? But she was consistent and she stayed on message. Plus, LaRia wasn't necessarily the strongest candidate in the world. But even then, she did stay on message and she focused on the issues that matter to the voters in Virginia 2nd. This is a clear trend. Like, this isn't just, a one-off. We had multiple House races in the Midwest, in the Rust Belt. Republicans should have absolutely won. Every single one of them, they fell flat on the issues that matter to the voters. And sure, I'm not saying that we need to run establishment shills. What we need to do is run coherent campaigns that focuses on what the voters in that district want. Not this, just run on gas prices and call it a day, or, I'm going to run on my looks, like Gilbert did in Ohio. That is how Republicans can learn from their mistakes, win the future. And again, I'm saying there's other issues. For example, you had some serious fundraising issues, but that's not the entire concern. That wasn't the number one reason in some of these situations. It's clear that a lot of these races, such as in Ohio, outside of Majewski's seat, it was a lack of coherent messaging. So yeah, I hope Republicans and people that watch these videos understand we need a coherent message in each district. Like, if a district's a blue-collar union district like Ohio 13, geez, I wonder why their concerns is healthcare, jobs, and trade, not gas prices. I mean, Sykes a fake moderate. She ran as Tim Ryan, but African-American. It's just true. She ran on trade and jobs. Gilbert ran on I don't even know what. That's the reason Republicans underperform. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and of course, go follow Miller Stan on Twitter. Link in the description down below. And yes, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.